Welcome to the Saints Crown Show. This is a show for men who want to grow. In a world where confusion is the culture and passivity is the practice, we exist to take men from gaining massive clarity to taking massive action, because we believe that if we can help bring order to your life, you can bring order to your world.
Welcome back to the Saints Crown Show. I'm your host, Zachary Reed, joined here with co-founder of Saints Crown, Preston Woody. And today we are continuing the conversation by providing clarity to some of the burning questions that were submitted to us by men like you. So let's dive in. What are the characteristics you look for in a friend?
Oh, I love this question. What are the characteristics I look for in a friend? I thought about this about 6 or 7 years ago, and I looked at the friends that I had in my life, and I thought, who are the people that have been there the longest and that are the highest impact friends, and the people that I just love to be with the most? And I found there are three primary qualities. I call these like really the 3 C's of friendship. So if a person has one of these qualities, they're probably going to be the type of person that I'm going to effortlessly be drawn and bonded toward. So you ever wonder why friendships and relationships over time, they drift, okay? I found that the reason why friendships and relationships drift is 1, 2, or 3 of these qualities, maybe one that was there before, is no longer there. And so at this point in my life, I evaluate my friendships and relationships based on these 3 qualities. And so here they are. The first one is, number 1, challenge. Do they challenge me to be better in some area in life?
Yeah.
And what do I mean by that? Is are they continuously critiquing me? I'm like, not necessarily. Like, that's a different category. Yeah. Like, you may have someone in your life that constantly critiques you, but they don't challenge you. Like, a critic is someone who tells you how it should be done. Someone who challenges you is someone who's doing it and pulling you up to that level. Like, so how do I know like someone is challenging me? Because I'm in proximity with that person, I'm becoming better. Like, I am growing and becoming better, and I'm moving out of comfort. You're one of those people in my life. And Chris, who owns Threadpool, is one of those people in my life. Whenever I have proximity in that person, I leave challenged, meaning the potential of what I can do has been stretched and dialed up.
Yeah.
Now, on the other end, there are people who I suppose could critique potentially on one end, or just are full in compromise on the other. Someone who lives a life of compromise. Maybe they say they're going to do one thing and do something totally different. Probably isn't someone that if they can't trust themselves, then why should I trust them?
Yeah.
Right.
That's really good.
So if they're not challenging me, then they're probably someone that lives in a degree of compromise.
Yeah.
So challenge is number 1. Number 2, which is really important, is celebrate. Is someone that, like, I feel like, and you think about this in your life, that's the sort of person who, when you win, they win.
Yeah.
Like, who are the people in your life that as soon as you have a victory, who are you excited to tell?
Yeah.
Like, they're in that celebrate category. They have that. Those are the people in your life that want to see you win. But then there's the people in your life that when you win, to a degree, you have a reluctance to share with, because you're concerned that your victory may pose a threat to their ego. And you want to be aware of that.
Yeah.
So you may have someone in your life that challenges you, but they're still threatened by you, and they can't genuinely and sincerely celebrate your victories. Have you ever had someone in your life like that?
Yeah, 100%.
Hey, thanks for listening to the podcast. Got a question for you. When would now be a good time to change your life? Men are more passive and confused than ever before, and I want to help give you your edge by helping you gain clarity and a custom action plan I've used with my clients to create massive amounts of change. So I'm offering for a limited time a complimentary personal growth template and a step-by-step masterclass.
to start today. So you can download it at saintscrown.com right now and help us add more value to more men by hitting the subscribe button, give us a 5-star review, and add value to someone else by sharing the link to this episode. Now go and live with intensity.
One of the biggest lessons I've learned over the last few years is like there's different circles of intimacy of people who ultimately get access to your heart. And so as Christians, we should lead with trusting people, but not everyone is like, not everyone gets access to the inner circle of like what you're actually processing through or going through.
Yes.
And so like when I think of friendships, I think of people that I can be fully authentic with. And so we can be authentic with everyone, but there's also like another deeper level of intimacy between friends through authenticity where you can like say, hey, I'm like walking through this situation, and you can be detailed about it, and they're giving you advice and they're giving you wisdom, but ultimately they're calling you higher. I look for people who can also challenge me, for people who I know are godly people that are full of integrity and have good character and morals. I'm not looking for someone who, has messed up friendships or a bad marriage or things like that to give me like marriage advice.
Right.
Like when I'm looking for friends, I'm looking for people who I'm like running in life with. And so not everybody gets that level of access. For me, I have a small group of people that I would consider close friends that get that level of access.
And I think that's healthy. I mean, if you are a Christian, we want to model our life off of Jesus as much as possible. And that's how he modeled his life and ministry. He had his following, then he had his group of 12, and then he had his group of about 3 or 4 that he would bring, which means if you're bringing and choosing 3 or 4, you're excluding a number of people.
Yeah, like we've talked about this. One of our pastors has talked about this at our church, that there's like 3 types of people in our lives. And there's the people who pull you higher. So people who are like mentoring you. There's people that you're running with in life that you're like on the same playing field. And then there's people in the third category that you're pouring into.
Yes.
And so like you can have friendships in all 3 of those categories.
Right.
But depending on what season of life they're in and what they're walking through, you may not have the same level of depth with each of those 3 types of people in your life.
Remarkably said. And I think these qualities sync up, and asking the question, which is the question that asks, okay, does this person challenge me in some way? Yes or no? Yes. Does this person celebrate me? Yes or no? And then I think the third one to add would be challenge, celebrate, and cover. Like, does this person have my back?
Yeah. And I think the opposite of what that would look like is someone who, just even on the celebration and covering aspect of what you were just saying, is someone who is constantly in a state of comparison. So if you're around someone who's dealing with this competitive comparison spirit around them, where you share a victory and all of a sudden they are switching the conversation to, oh yeah, and I just did.
Yes.
It's like, that's when you know you're dealing with someone who's a little bit more divisive and is not really for you. Because if you have a friend, then that person should stop and celebrate with you and not try to make it about them, because now they're insecure based off of your win, because they're comparing their situation with you.
Right.
And so you need to be around strong individuals that can celebrate you and challenge you and be with you in the wins and the highs. So that they can, it's a form of honor, I feel like.
Well put. And even that contrast, and if someone's unwilling to celebrate you, they'll probably be unwilling to cover you.
Yeah.
And I assess that, and I think of that of, would this person have my back if I'm not in the room? If you've ever left a room and you're like, oh, I know they're talking about me, or I know that there's tension based on something that was said or done, and you can have full confidence that a person that you left behind in that room is going to have your back. Like, that's how you know. That's how you know. And if you have a person that meets all three, they challenge you, which is because you're in proximity, you're better. They cover you, is they have your back when you're not in the room, or they'll be there for you in a moment of hardship. And then 3, they celebrate with you. Like, what else do you need? But then on the reciprocating end, you have to give those things in order to maintain that.
Yeah.
And so you have to ask yourself the question in context of friendship is, am I living in a way that challenges people? Am I covering my friendship? Do they know that I have their back? Am I showing it? Am I giving actual tangible results? Like my friend John, he just helped me change all my brake pads, and he spent half a Saturday to help me learn how to do it and sort that out. Like that guy has me covered. And then celebrate is like, am I celebrating the victories of other people?
Yeah.
So excellent question.
Yeah, I feel like too, just my last thought on that is, would you be willing to go to war with that person? Like, are you willing to go through hard things with that person? And if the answer is no, then they're probably not a good friend.
Massive clarity.
Thank you for investing in yourself with us. And if you feel like, hey, I found my tribe, right now go ahead and subscribe to the show. Or you can just find us on social media at Instagram at saints.crown. I hope to see you soon.